So this time of year, everybody's basically out there staining their decks, doing woodworking, and what we do is we take our rags, we put the stuff on there, and then we just sort of throw them in the garbage. Now you hear a couple horror stories every once in a while of these things spontaneously combusting.
Well, if you are planning on staining your deck this fall, Hennepin County officials have a warning for you.
In the past 3 months, they've seen almost a dozen fires caused by oily rags thrown in the garbage.
String of fires we've had over about the last year and a half where people are using a product to stain or treat wood, either linseed oil or stain, have improperly disposed of rags, and through a self-combustion, it started a fire.
But on the back of this can here it says, danger, rags, steel wool, other waste soaked with this product could spontaneously catch on fire. Ugh. The question is, will that really happen? All right, so here's what we got going on. I got a treated 2x6 right here, some regular stain, some rags, and then our control area. Please don't try this at home. Now this box is directly out in the sun. Again, it's about 87 degrees. It's going to go up to 93 degrees, so I think this is going to be our perfect control area right here. Now, believe it or not, there's actually some scientific reasoning behind what this is going to do. In order to have a fire, you need three different things. You need oxygen, which we all have. We need fuel, which this will be. Then we need an ignition source, which is our sun. You're also talking about lower explosion limits right here. You're sending off VOCs, or volatile organic compounds. These things are going off in the air, they're venting off, and then what's happening is they're igniting because you have the right mixture of oxygen, you have the right mixture of fuel, and you have your ignition source. Now we all know that if you lit a match to this, that would not be a good thing at all, but again, the sun, would it really set this ablaze? Would this really spontaneously combust because of the venting, because of the fuel that is in the air, because of the volatile organic compounds? That's what I'm interested to see. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We got our treated 2x6. We're just going to take some stain on our rags. We're going to dip it and stain it. So in this box, all we have is a little bit of paper, cardboard, and our rags. All right, so right now we have our box. We're going to throw this in a controlled area. Please don't try this at home. We have a nice open area with rock. Nothing's going to catch on fire, and it's going to be right out in the sun, as you can see. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take or if it'll even work. But what we're going to do is we're going to put it out here and we're going to let it set and see what happens. So right about now, it's 153 degrees on our box over here. So I'm only imagining there's probably like an oven with that sun just baking down on top of that box and heating it up the inside, that ambient temperature. I would imagine it's getting pretty warm in there. It's almost like throwing a blanket on yourself on a 90-degree day. Curious. It's been about an hour since I've had these outside. We'll see what happens. All right, so literally it's been about 2 hours. We got some cloud coverage. It's been going in and out the sun. And the temperature's starting to rise though. It was 87 degrees since we started this, and now we're about 90. It's supposed to go up to 93 degrees today, so I haven't seen anything yet. No smoking, nothing, out of the ordinary, so I'm just gonna give it a few more hours and see what happens. All right, check this out. So in the box of stain, it's 87 degrees out here with the ambient temperature. Inside, looking at 119 degrees. All right, so it's been like 4 hours right now, and I was down in the shed and I heard a pop. It was like a poof, and it was almost like a gas like expanding in the box. I come up and the box is actually on freaking fire. How freaking cool is that? I mean, not cool, right? Because you don't want that to happen, but it literally, it's been about 4 hours, 4.5 hours later in the direct sunlight, and the box is literally on fire. It is freaking crazy. Now, the one I have with the stain, nothing yet. Still the same, but I would not be surprised if it does the exact same thing. Now, linseed oil, any type of flammable combustibles, you get enough oxygen, you got enough heat, you got enough VOC in there, well, that's what happens. Now, a lot of people are probably going to say, well, you had this out in the sun. Okay, well, yeah, I did. But my garage takes sunlight many hours of the day, even inside. I gotta put this out real quick. All right, let me calm down here a second. I really did not think that was going to happen. You know, I knew that the temperature was going to build, the pressure was going to build in the box, but I really didn't think it was just gonna ignite. I thought maybe I'd see some smoking, but you know, again, down in the garage down there, heard a pop. Next thing I know, I come up, I see some smoke, flame coming out the back, which is pretty crazy. Now, let me show you something. Right here in my garage, I have sunlight constantly all day long. So if I were to throw a box right there, there's a good chance that it would do the exact same thing. In the front of my garage, sunlight not yet coming into it, but within about 2 or 3 hours, it will be inside the garage. If you're using any type of stain, maybe not water-based. I don't think you're gonna have that issue at all with water-based, but you never know. But your oil-based stains, your polyurethane, your linseed oils, don't just put them on your rag and then throw them in a garbage can and put them outside, because that can happen. I really didn't think it would, but I was kind of surprised. Now, there's news stories out there about this, and I wanted to put it to the test, and within 4.5 hours, yeah, that box on the outside, I took a temperature maybe an hour before that happened, and the box was reading 167 degrees on the outside. So I can imagine what it was like on the inside. Now, the temperature did get up to 93 degrees, humidity about 50%, and direct sunlight. But again, if you're putting this in your garage or outside in your garbage containers where that sunlight is hitting it, you need to watch out. So make sure you ventilate them. Make sure that you hit them with water. Now, if you've ever been in an industrial setting before, you know that we have fire cabinets. You know that there are flammable waste baskets that you can put them in. They're pretty cheap. Now, you're probably wondering why these don't just start going off and catching on fire. Well, there's no oxygen in that can. Now, I will tell you, if you don't put that lid on tight enough and there's oxygen that's able to get into that can, or if it spills, then you have that risk. But you can still put them in a flammable cabinet if you're worried about it. Now, again, as far as it goes with the stained rags, did not combust, but when I open up this box, I can feel hotter, warmer air in that box than what was out on the surrounding air. Not only that, I got a very strong whiff of the VOCs. It just smelled very, very strong, so I know that filled that box the entire way. There was still oxygen getting inside of there, and I'll tell you what, I'm not even taking that chance. I'm taking them out, hitting them with water, and then going to secure them before I throw them away. I'm gonna let them vent off outside without a box and just, you know, get rid of that nasty.